We've grown significantly, but with that growth comes a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. At the moment, as we stand here, 50% of the company haven't worked for us for more than a year, which is very difficult if I say we try and instill a certain culture. And the whole idea of what do we expect as EOH Coastal, let's call us that for a change. So we're EOH Coastal, what do we expect from individuals within the company? Now it's very easy because we that's been around for a while, you that work closely with us, you know what we expect. But the new people coming in, how do we ensure that the right message gets to them? How do we ensure the right behavior from them? So that is what this is about. So well done on getting here, because you've been acknowledged by most of the management team as the extended leadership group. You are acknowledged as the people who can actually make a difference. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Bevan, who's going to run us through the presentation. And guys, if you have ideas or things like that, you don't want to speak up in this forum, by all means, make contact with Bevan or myself after the session, or even just drop us an email. Cool, thanks.
Cool guys, Clay, thanks very much. So the idea of this has largely been coming for a while. Some of you may have been involved in extended leadership group conversations, but as Katie mentioned, we're over we're over 300 people at the moment. We started the financial year, so about 11 months ago, at 226. So it's been an insane growth. We've employed over 120 people. So essentially, you're here largely because we need your help. As a management team, we're not too far off of a management team size that dealt with 60 to 100 airborne employees, and we really need this group to help instill the culture and values that as a company we stand for, and I know that everyone here does as well. So it's really not asking you guys to be different at all. It's just about seeing yourself as leaders. So I have a really awesome projector. This is going to go really well. This is well thought through. There was no intention of me to go through this, but this is just the tactical objectives that sit on Igloo, and these are the things that as a management team we are trying to deliver on and drive out. But these are the things that we really need your help on the individual initiatives to make sure that those are actually being realized in the teams. So it isn't my video, it's technically Tian's video. So the developers, I'm sorry, you've probably seen this one before. Tian has promised to give us a dramatic reenactment later on.
We talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes, and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course, you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes the second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts, three is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately afterward, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So notice that after more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out. They won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they will be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So, first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone. Remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. That yes, it was the shirtless guy who was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So as we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the courage to follow and show others how to follow. And when you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that, Ted. Thanks.
So basically, I suppose in our scenario, as a management team, as alarming it is to you, we're the shirtless nuts running around. And for this group, we're really looking for some followers to help us try and achieve the things that you guys all stand for. And what we'd really like is that for you to start instilling that into all the teams in a greater way. So there are two things that I hope you can take out of this. The first one is basically, in one word, what are we asking you to do? And basically, this didn't do this when I set it up. Within your teams, we need you guys to be leaders, to set those examples and be comfortable with that. It's us empowering you and saying, hey guys, we're happy with you guys throwing your weight around, telling people that's not necessarily how we're going to do it. And there are a few ways that we'd like you to take that on board. First thing, we are spending a lot of time and effort sending out communications, emails around all sorts of initiatives that we are trying to do. Please make sure that you're aware of those, and then make sure that your team are aware of those different things. It's a reasonably simple thing, but you're sitting around these people all the time, and we know from the test that we've done, basically half of our staff members are not reading their emails. Know our stories and share them. We have a lot of really good stories. Marika's doing a lot of work in publishing those, whether they be the successes of the new competencies that we're delivering, the academy that Katie's driving and the results of those, as well as our case studies, which you'll see are also now coming through. Know those and make sure that your team around you can be proud of the things that we're achieving. Traditionally, this is something where we were very bad at. Someone at Old Mutual would not know about the great stories that were happening at VASA. We're trying to change that, but we need your help to get that across. Know the values and why. There are only 3 of them now. So it should be a little bit easier, but as well as the why, that we choose to make a difference. Use those in everyday conversation with your team. When you see something that is not what you think it should be, use the phrase in the way that you can, or again, praise in a similar way. I get this next one is very, very difficult for guys who are billable and on the floor. Sometimes it is very difficult to see the positive, but as a management team, we see the great work that you guys and your teams do all the time. And sometimes we need to focus a bit more on that than sometimes the noise, which is often out of our control. It's something that a client's not allowing us to do. And Old Mutual, the classic one, we don't have access or those kinds of things. Try and see the positives, because that positivity that you would have will disseminate in your team. The last thing on this section is ask for it. As in, if you want something from the management team, or if you think you've got an idea, let us know. There's very often the scenario that we don't hear a lot of the things. Candice, as an example, a couple of weeks ago we went to Share Conference, 4 of us, for I think the first time in our history that we've prioritized SharePoint as an offering in that way. And the key thing for me is if you think that there's something that you can use that's going to make a difference in your world, ask us for it. We can only say no, but I think 90% of the times when people actually ask us for stuff, we do go and do it. So take on a few points about asking for stuff, okay? So your overseas trip and your shiny new laptop might not necessarily be it. Think about what you're asking for and spin it to us from a business aspect. What kind of difference is it going to make? How does it align to our strategy and our tactical objectives? Any questions there? It's a smaller group, you're allowed to ask questions now, or you're standing and want to get to the bar. Okay. There's only one more slide and one more thing that we'd like you to do. So a big part of all the tactical objectives is the collaboration, communication, all those kinds of things. Now we've set up the platform in Igloo, but that could be in any technology really. At the end of the day, the power of that is firstly in what we choose to put up there, as well as how we go and use it. And so Mareka has done a lot of work in putting together a lot of great content that I know many of you are not going to be that familiar with. I've charged the management team with making sure that they know the things that are up there, things like strategies, the tactical objectives and those kinds of things. But again, if we're going to start a movement, we need to be all using this thing and active. There's 300 people in the company. If everyone posts or comments once a week, that's a lot of action happening on that system and potentially a lot of value to be added. Igloo is currently at minimum viable product. We have got a phase 2 coming and some add-ons that we are also going to be developing ourselves. But basically there are 3 things that I'd like everyone in this group to go take out and go and do on Igloo again as setting the example. The first thing is go and write a profile base for yourself. So with that, everyone in the company can go and say who the different people are, where they work, what do they do, all those kinds of things. You'll see some of the managers have done that already, and that would be a really good starting point. The next thing I know, many of the developers, and a picture, Alec wants a picture of you. The next thing is I know the developers have done a lot of this already, but write a project write-up that we can put up on Igloo. So part of the next phase that Mareka is working on is making sure that there's a structure so people can go and view. At the moment there's just a client, there will be the projects with that as it. Developers are already writing a technical write-up. From a business side, what is the justification? What is the business case? What are we actually delivering on? The last thing is if this group, I don't know how many people actually there were 65 people invited, and we weren't originally going to video this, but because some of the guys couldn't come, we quickly changed that. If everyone in this group again is posting or commenting once a week, we've got 65 things going on there, which I think is a really good start and a great number. And it probably won't take much of an effort for us to drive that, and then hopefully everyone else in the company will follow us. That's all I got for you.